Hello, so welcome to this video. This video is dedicated to Mr. Ariel, SBB teacher, S1 to JC2, I think. And here is a appreciation presentation for Teachers Day that was on the 7th of May. And it's titled Few Reasons Why Mr. Ariel Serenado is Awesome. An appreciation video he 100% deserves. Okay. Learning objective. For this PowerPoint, the learning objective is to understand that Mr. Ariel is an awesome teacher. And let's continue. First, Mr. Ariel is very caring. He always ensures students can hear him clearly. 1 or 0. Often stops to ask whether there are questions and whether we understand what he is talking about. Again, 1 and 0. And he emails students when they are sick. I actually talked with Andrew, and he said that he got an email from you when he was sick, showing your concern. And he gives private comments on check tasks when there are concerns too. And I really appreciate that because it can help. I think it can really help students improve, especially for the exam. And yeah, here it says, Sir is very cool. Understanding. Mr. Ariel informs us way earlier when there's a quiz. I remember last time before the IGCSE mocks, we were planning to have a quiz, and then he already informed it like a week earlier, which I actually really appreciate. And however, it was canceled because he understands that we have so much quizzes on that day, and yeah, I think he's a bit disappointed because of that, but yeah, I really appreciate it because it helps a lot with the pressure and everything. For social students, we only had like 3 quizzes, maybe 4 quizzes that day. But for the science stream, they had like the whole day full of quizzes, except for ICT. And he doesn't give us much tasks, just enough to ensure we understand the lesson. Uh, some teachers I know they give worksheets every meetings, but for Mr. Ariel, sometimes it's just pure lecture, sometimes it's pure worksheet, sometimes it's a mix. And yeah, the worksheets are not very hard. They're just to make sure that all of the students understand what he taught. And yeah, it's not as much burden as some other tasks. And he understands the limitation of the softwares we have at home. Like that time we were discussing for practical the video editing. A lot of us had problems with the software that he recommended, and because some of us we have no other alternative, then he just allows it to like have some errors, and of course we need to like inform him beforehand. But yeah, he understands the limitations of the softwares and that sometimes our laptop is not capable of it. And of course, like the um Filmora, how do you call it, watermark, yeah, he, although the watermark is very big, he still considers it, and I appreciate that so much without like minus points or anything, just as long as we tell him. And he appreciates students. I appreciate your appreciation towards students, and that is correct. You appreciate the answers we give in the chat box, even though it may not be correct, and encourage discussions and questions, which I believe is really nice because like we just feel better, as students. School has been very pressuring on us, and with these little appreciations, we just feel a lot more motivated actually. I talked with Felicia. She joined the ICT IGCSE mock, and I heard you sent them a congratulation email for finishing the mocks, and I can see her really appreciating that. Also, you're very elaborate when explain with a lot of details, a lot of step-by-step teaching. And it's a lot more easier to understand than Google. Yeah, I would rather listen to your lecture than just Googling the answers or reading the textbook. They're so elaborate, and yeah, you basically understand everything from the lecture. Yeah, no confusion. And even though I have confusion, I'll directly ask and you'll explain it even more clearly. Yeah, three words to describe you. First is patient. You always answer our questions, even if it has been asked several times. I remember this time when we were talking about um, making the layout of a form, I believe, of like the SPB registration form. I remember like there were three students or more who asked you whether they can use Google Form, and you clearly explained to them why Google Form is not allowed, even though it's repeated over and over again. And yeah, I'm just surprised that um, you still answered them by that point. And you're very proactive. You have the initiative to give extra classes for IGCSEs every week, and that's just not something that every teacher would do. You give time, your time for to teach the students who need extra classes for IGCSE. And lastly, you're very considerate. Before we mentioned about how you're very caring and understanding, and as a mix of that, I call it just considerate. So this is a quote for you. Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. And I really felt that because there was this one time when I studied about Microsoft Access previously, and I didn't understand any part of it, which was why actually I didn't take the IGCSE ICT because I was so scared of the access. I didn't understand any part of it with that it was taught by the previous teacher. But I talked to Fel again, and she said that um, you teaching it is a lot better, and she actually understand because Fel was previously my confused partner in Microsoft Access. We sat next to each other in the computer lab, and we just like be stressed together. But yeah, I believe she did well for the ICT mock, and you're the main reason for it, I believe. Well, though I can't guarantee, of course. I'm not Fel, but she did study a lot too. Thank you very much, and I mean it. I hope you can. I hope you like being in SVB and teaching us because we do enjoy having you as a teacher. Thank you very much. Disclaimer for Fel, I didn't actually talk to her about mentioning her in this video, but this is what we just talked about. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.